Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by a new book report. Today I want to discuss this small book about Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism. A lot of people are talking about Zen Buddhism. What is exactly Zen Buddhism? And I didn't knew it. It is Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism in a mix. So Zen Buddhism is actually kind of three Eastern religions in one pocket. I bought this book on the market here in Amsterdam, just €7. For €7, you have so much knowledge about Zen Buddhism. Buddhism is originally not from Thailand. A lot of people are thinking, oh, I have a Buddha statue in the garden, and that is in Thai temples, in Thai religion. No, Buddhism is originally from India, and the same is Taoism. Taoism is also originally from India, and from India it was spreading eastwards, so eastwards towards Tibet, and then more to Thailand. And Confucianism, Confucius, from the famous philosopher and spiritual guy Confucius, is from China. So you see two religions, very old, by the way. You see in India you had some Hinduism that was later with the system of the caste system, dividing people in different layers in the society. But Buddhism was earlier and also originally from India, and Taoism too. So is linked with Tibet, right? So Taoism is a lot of times linked with Tibet, but it was spreading eastwards, same as Buddhism and Taoism. So it's an Indian and Chinese mixed higher wisdom religion part of Buddhism, actually. This Zen Buddhism, so it's also Buddhism in that kind of way. So it's a kind of a mix of three religions in one. And Dharma, that is the learnings of Zen Buddhism, and they're following the Dharma rules and to find your true nature. On page 20 and 27, True Nature and the Dharma, and talked with you so much about the finding true nature. And you have to watch the previous book report. I told more about the true nature principles. But more, I want to talk with you about two interesting topics in the Zen Buddhism, and that is attention and openness. And those two things, attention in your actions, and you see when I name this word attention, I have more attention with what I'm doing. So attention and openness are two learnings, very important learnings in the Zen Buddhism Dharma teachings. And those two things are the most forgotten things in the human behavioral patterns in the Western world. but I think also in the Eastern world, and in the Southern world and in the North world, those things are the most forgotten, important also social skills. So doing your things really with 100% attention without watching your social media all the time in between. So attention on your job or attention on what you're doing at this moment, 100% focus. So if you're reading a book, do your timer on 1 hour and fully focus on that 1 hour on that job. If you are cleaning your house, do the timer on 1 hour, do fully 1 hour your cleaning task for the day and then have a little break. So what it says is attention is focusing on one thing at the moment. That's the most efficient thing. So if you're going to the gym, I see so many people are going watching on their cell phones when they are in the gym, and then you're not 100% focused on your training, and your training do longer and your muscles becoming cold, and you have 1 minute rest and then you watch on your cell phone and then you have 2 3 minutes rest, so your schedule is gonna lose. And you see also the people in the gym who are successful are the ones who are not using their social media and phones in between. So attention is a very important thing in the Zen Buddhism Dharma teachings, that you're doing your things with attention. Very important, focusing social dynamics. So if you're watching my videos, do it while you're driving car. It's okay. Put your phone on and listen to my story. You don't have to see me. It's all fine. You can listen to me. It's all fine. I know people are watching my videos in the car. It's all fine, right? But if you're watching my videos, try to do it with attention. Focus on what I'm saying. Focus on that, and don't be distracted with other things you are doing. So attention is one thing. The second thing is openness. Openness towards the world means openness towards strangers. Openness towards the world is openness towards strangers. So what it say actually is that you have to stand open towards the people in your surroundings, and that is very, very difficult. When I stepped outside the matrix when I was 26, the first thing, to talk to strangers on the street, was the fear what I should say, how I make a compliment, where to talk about. And you're raised up in the matrix, always in the small social circles of your sports or your school, of your university, of your family. And the outside world was always, oh, they're strangers. We don't know them. They're strangers, right? So your conditionings are also very, very small. When I stepped outside the system, when I was 26, and I stepped out of all the small social circles like work, friends, groups, that kind of things, and I talked to strangers, the mind shift was different, and your opportunities will become more wider, and you become more open. So I remember when I talked 20, 30 people per day, I came home and I feel really my heart chakra already slightly without any meditation, but pure from being socially awake, being socially awake, and open yourself up towards strangers, and yeah, let yourself also hurt, right? Rejections in your life, or maybe the conversation is not so nice with this stranger, but experiences it and move on to the next person. So, attention and openness are two important things in Zen Buddhism, and a lot of people have no attention to not are not able to focus anymore in this world of information overload. But you see also a lot of people are very closed, and when you're closed, that's a very interesting observation. You search for safety. If you're very closed and you're not open to the world, you're stitched together in small groups. If you're afraid, you search friends, and you stitch together on places. Oh, I have 4 or 5 friends, they can protect me in dangerous situations. So you get gang dynamics in the most extreme form. So if you're afraid, you see in bad neighborhoods, and you get more of that in West Europe, um, you get gangs. Why you get gangs? Because you have to survive. Why you have gangs? Because you're afraid. You need safety and protection. So you have no friends there because you're the social guy and you want to be social. No, you have friends to survive and they give you protection. That's the trade, and you play a game. If you're more open and you live in a safe area, I know I live in a relative safe area, it becomes also more dangerous in Amsterdam, do mass immigration. But if you are open and you talk to strangers and you meet new people, then there's not a reason to play the fake social game in trade of protection and security. So you don't need to go by a gang. Yay! I don't need to go have friends by a gang and play the tough game, and maybe girls were looking because we are so tough together. So there's no reason evolutionary, socially, for the protection to go by a gang if you're open socially and meet strangers. I don't need to have a closed friendship group because I can have my social energy. I can talk to everyone on the street. So if you can talk to everyone on the street, I have my social battery loaded. I don't need to have friends or a group with friends. They're a bonus I have, but it's not needed. It will be a bonus in your life and not from safety protection motives. So that's also the related part to your openness, and how the matrix is seeing socially is different than the non-matrix, the outside the matrix. So in the matrix, I've wrote a blog about this topic, about what is social in the matrix and what is social outside the matrix. So in the matrix, social will be seen that you're hanging around with the same friends from years and years and years and years on. And you have different groups of friends, one from the sports, one from university, and you see them every year in and out, every month in and out. You're going with the same people, with the same groups, and you stay the same person. If you're outside the matrix, you experience with social day love and talking to strangers on the streets, you're social acceleration will be much more quicker. So you meet new people, you figure out is this long-term related or not. You become more critical with your goals. Can I learn something from this person? We talk a little bit one-to-one, always more deeper, interesting than in groups. The level of information is deeper. You know that in a group, the downside of groups is that you're not so learning so much anymore. The level is going down. Their ego is involved. Games, hierarchy, gossiping is coming into groups. So if you're outside the matrix and talk with people one to one, like Socrates did and Buddha did and Jesus did, you have a more, I think, interesting life than stinching around with the same people year in, year out. You are also not changing so much. You become your five closest friends. So if your friends are not changing, and in that case, that's a lot of times the case, then you're also not changing. You're really influenced by your circle. So outside the matrix, more openness, I think, more social than inside the matrix. So attention and openness in the Zen Buddhism is not only stinch around in meditation groups, but also share your love and your social skills to strangers on the streets. And that's the last thing about this topic. I see a lot. I see a lot of Buddhistic groups. They stinch with the same people and the same groups, and they pretend to be social, but if they walk on the street and they're in a supermarket, they're very closed. So to be social is social to the outside world. Yeah, Nietzsche is very tricky in the Western. If you mention Nietzsche, everyone is shocked. I read so many books about Nietzsche. Very interesting philosopher. I think one of the best philosophers in the world. But it is not really understood by Hitler, not very well understood by Hitler, Nietzsche, so he got a bad frame. But in the Eastern wisdoms, Nietzsche was mentioned so much. He was very popular in Eastern Zen Buddhistic literature. Page 70 from this book, Zen Buddhism. Yeah, Nietzsche was very close by Buddhism, the most closest philosopher towards spiritual development. So that's, I think, interesting to mention. It's a nice text I want to talk to you. It's about the Heart-Sutra. The Heart-Sutra is your attention inwardly. And your Heart-Sutra is also your trust in life and trust in your action and trust what you're doing in life. It's in Dutch, but I will translate it in once to you in English. So the Heart-Sutra is the most intimate part, ownership from yourself. That's the source of all your actions, right? So you're inwardly source of action. It is the source of your choices in life. So what is said here is that if you found your Heart-Sutra, then you will make decisions based on intuition. And how more and more enlightened you become, or more consciousness you have, how more and more you're able to make your choice on intuition and future minded perspectives. So I can really feel what's the best decision, also what's the effects of the decision in the future. So your intuition will be much more the base of your decisions in life than rationality. So we are in the Western world still on the rationality of our decisions, decision making, but we are not following our gut feelings, our intuition. And that's not your lower belly, that's the hatred belly, right? It's your emotions. No, it's your intuition. And your intuition is higher than your emotions. It happens in the here in now. So your intuition you can feel in the here and now, and the here and now is very grounded. It's the most grounded thing on earth. People, the first reaction if you talk about spirituality, oh, that's so zweverig. That's something from the air. Yeah, that is what the Matrix is telling you, right? So everyone is talk and listening to each other. So it's like gossiping. So one people are saying this, um, and the other one is repeating. That's one of things. Oh, spirituality. That's from the air. That's something above. That's something not really related. I can understand if you didn't read any book about spirituality. I can understand that you're also matrix conditioned. So in that case, I forgive you. But following your intuition in this stage with your attention and your openness is the most grounded thing on earth. People who are in the matrix, the conditioned people, and 90.90% is totally conditioned, are ungrounded, are not open, are doing things without attention. Their mind is constantly whip-bopping everywhere. They're very rational, they're in their fear. They are the ones who are not grounded, but here in their mind, and then totally not focusing attitude. So when you're going into spirituality, you become more grounded. You become more solid. You become more intuitive person. In the middle of the world, you see the beautiness, but also the problems. So because you're open, you see the low consciousness fields of people, you see the problems, you see what the decisions are gonna be in the future. You see also more the beauty. So it's the extreme. You see the beauty from the buildings, you smile, the beautiful air in the park, you like the statue somewhere, you enjoy your surroundings, but it's also the downside is that you also feel the negative things of people, and the negative behavior is able to affect you. So openness has a downside. If you're open, you can also affect. You can affect what is coming in. So openness is always related to the extremes, but you have to spring in the deep water, the deep sea, how you name it. It is worth my life outside the matrix. When I was 26, I escaped the system and I dive into the deep water of meditation, of openness, of social day love, talking to strangers on the street, and I make the step into personal development. So it is worth it to dive with all the dangers there gonna be in your life. It is what you're saying when you're nearly dying is say, okay, did I stay in the shitty job, what I do now all my life? I didn't make the guess in my life. I stay in this shitty relationship. I stay in this shitty life with my shitty friends. I never stepped out. And that's the question you have to say, ask yourself in the future, right? Or now. Um, did I make the jump in the deep water in my life? You become in a timeless intimacy with the source, with your true nature. Timeless intimacy means that the time is going faster and faster, really, really faster. You come in a timeless dimension from connecting to the source and doing just your daily activities, like making your food, uh, um, showering in the morning, going to the gym, going to the supermarket, all the daily practicing will be related also to that inner source. So that is an intimacy that is happening together. So in togetherness from the most deep spiritual religious source there is with just the simple work. So how beautiful is that combination that you really can enjoy also the simple things in life. And in the Japanese Zen impression, it calls that Ishin Densin. Inshin, Inshin Densin. That means that you can trust your heart and your trust, the heart and the trust connected. Next topic, page 141, is that everything in our surroundings, every people who you know, are incarnated consciousness. So we and everything, the trees, the birds, the animals, the grass in the fields, and the boats, the material things are incarnated consciousness. That say that it is the world is a continuous growing consciousness, fields with ups and downs. We have correcting phases in our evolutionary stages. That is more lower consciousness, but in the average, we are hiring our consciousness levels with corrections, I have to say, right? So, but on the average, we are not in the stage that we have to protect our property with weapons, right? I don't need to look 5 times over my shoulder when I walk on the street here. I do it. I watch if there's uh, for safety a little bit, but it's not so worse that I have to wear an knuppel and a wooden stick to throw the animals out of my uh, environment, or I can be dead the next day because there is a Neanderthaler close by. So what you see is that um, the levels of safety are rising in human earth. So there's more safety, there's more environmental consciousness, how we deal with our plants and trees and air. So that kind of things you can see if the consciousness are rising. We have judges who look to our cases, who are not, I hope, not too much influenced by political powers. We have in the Western world no dictators in a kind of way, not real dictators who are reckless. In other parts of the world, yes. But slowly, I hope we are able to continue this line of raising our consciousness higher and higher. So everything is reincarnated consciousness that say that souls are also have a reincarnation process. So you have an old soul or a middle soul or a young soul, and you're constantly coming back on earth to develop yourself until enlightenment. If you reach enlightenment, if you reach your opening of your seven chakras and can hold, then there's no reason to come back on earth anymore. That's the end stage. There's no task anymore. Maybe in another part of the universe you can come back, but the earth is an ending learning atmosphere. Page 168 is about the mix of Christianity and Zen. There were a lot of Christianaries, Jesuiten, who were in Japan. They were going to Japan to spread Christianity, the Catholic version of Christianity. They were going to Japan, and they were going back to Japan, and they were also have a mutual relationship. So they were going to Japan, and the people were very receptive and openness for the Catholic Christian views, and also the Christian Catholic guys, mostly, were also able to pick up this knowledge and brought it towards West Europe or Europe, and took some lessons from the Zen ideology into Christianity. You see here a mutual agreement, relationship, I have to say, between West and East. So you have also a book, Zen and the Bible, about it. You can read it, Zen and the Bible, where you can read more about the Zen traditions in the Zen and Christianity religious world. Last part 185, and I told you also about the last previous video. Also your attitude, your physical attitude. A lot of people do meditation or going into spirituality, they still have their shoulders like this, or they move like this. But also openness means also straight posture, walk straight, and therefore your lines are better in your body, and you have a beautiful body language to stay open towards the world. So that was mentioned on page 185, is a straight back is important into spirituality to show your confidence, your healthy confidence, and share your love towards the world. Thank you for watching, and I see you by the next book report. Bye bye.